Hi guys, Chart Guy Charlie here once again, this time doing a video on HHT. This is a post-market analysis on Monday, August 24th after the market close. This is a stock that I've been watching for a while now. It's definitely been on my watch list. I've been keeping an eye on it, looking for a turnaround, expecting a turnaround. Appears as though we're basically there. Hasn't It's borderline broken out. Okay, it's a borderline reversal in my opinion, but tomorrow is going to be the day to tell us for sure. But let's just go over this stock in a little more detail so that you can get an idea of what I'm looking at, why it's on my watch list, and why I'm looking for a strong turnaround on this stock, possibly tomorrow. I thought it was going to happen today, but it let me down. So let's get into the stock. You can see long term, we always start with a longer term time frame and then we drill down. I've talked about this many times. Always get a big picture of the stock you're trading. Don't start on a 1 day just because there's news and you pull up a 1 day chart and that's all you look at. You got to look at the bigger picture. You can't take a trade on a 1 day if you're butting up against resistance on a daily chart, or shorting a stock and you're butting up against support on the downside. Even though the trade looks great, it's a great entry. You got to look back and see what you're up against on previous days. Okay, look at least a month back. So we're doing that right now. The stock, as you can see, had a really nice break, resting period, a really nice breakout trend up here up to 206 range. That was the near-term top. We had a pullback, tried to recover, and got to this point here where it could have pulled off a double bottom, and it may have been a double bottom on an uptrend. But what happened is it broke that support line right there, and when it broke that support line, it really went downhill fast. And we're going to talk about that right now. We're going to look at that point because that's what's interesting. If you'll note, where it broke that support right here is where I started my trend line on that day right there. So from that day onward, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I won't even count these resting days. 5, 6. Okay, 6 red days in a row is a lot. Anytime a stock goes down 6 bars in a row, even on a 1 minute chart, if a stock is going down 6 red bars on a 1 minute chart, you're going to expect a green bar in there. 3 bars, you sometimes get a turnaround. 4 bars, more likely to get a turnaround. 5 bars, really more likely. 6 bars, 7 bars down, you know, you're really looking for a correction to the upside. So that's the reason I was watching this stock a couple of days ago. Again, like I say, we didn't count these resting days. This was basically a correction through time. It just moved sideways and got back to the trend line. But you can see the severe downtrend. And where did it finally find support? We're going to talk about that now. You'll see this green line. Let me zoom back to here. Kind of a turquoise line. This one right here. That's the support level that we had way back over into here. That was strong support. The only support below that is quite a bit below. And if I pan back, you'll see I think it's in the 30s. But that was a pivot, and that held. I mean, it peekabooed below it on this day right here. You can see it peekabooed below it, but it closed above it. So that's important. It held that support line. You are allowed to go below a support line a little bit. It's more important that you close above it and that you don't go too far below it. So that's an acceptable bounce off that support line. It held. And then let me get this off so you can see the volume. And let's zoom in a little bit more now on this particular. So you'll see as it was downtrending these 6 days in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, resting, 5. On the 6th day, look at the volume. Huge volume spike compared to all of these other, even from this day, this volume was weak. You had a, spike in volume here, but this was massive. This is like 5 times average volume of previous days. And so that's a sign of a capitulation. I would say between the finding support on the turquoise line and the amount of volume, that told me that this was probably going to be a bottom. Okay, with a bottoming candle, closed above support, strong volume. I'm thinking this day's capitulation. I'm waking up this morning and I'm really watching the stock. And I'm thinking, well, is it going to break the trend line? Is it going to break this trend line on this day? Well, it didn't, but it came up to it. And what did it do? Again, strong volume. And more importantly than that is it totally engulfed the previous day. Okay, it like ate it right up. Closed near the trend line. I'm thinking, okay, today's going to be the day where maybe it opens up here and it really makes a run and breaks the trend solidly. But it didn't. But even though it didn't, I would call it a resting day and a continuation of a little mini uptrend. I still am calling this the beginning of a reversal. It's not a clear, solid reversal, but you can see that with this little purple line here, we are putting in a little bit of an uptrend. We have broken that downtrend line a little bit today. When you put all this together, this thing's ready to blow. It's going to blow to the upside, in my opinion. Now, I've been wrong before. I can be wrong again. I can't predict the future. You can't predict the future. Don't even try. Put the stock on your watch list and watch it. Don't enter the trade unless you see a good buy opportunity. By good buy opportunity, there's a lot of videos you can watch about where exactly to try to enter a trade on a pivot, on a 3-bar play, or a if you see a pivot with like a 50% retracement is a nice area to get back in on a it moves up and then pulls back about halfway and it starts to turn around. That's an ideal spot. You're going to have to use your own method to try to get into the stock. I'm just giving you the idea to put it on your watch list. Where you get into it is going to have to be up to you, and where you put a stop on it and what kind of profit you want to take is up to you. Don't just buy the stock blindly because I'm telling you, or anybody's telling you, or you think, well, this is breaking out, I'm just going to buy it now. Just think about where you get into it. Where am I going to get into this? What's my risk going to be? How much can I afford to lose once I place that trade? If you only want to lose $100 that day, then put a stop where you're only going to lose $100. I can't say it enough. You really have to use risk management here. That's number one. So take care of your trades. Get in and put a stop on it. Have a profit target in mind, and that's most important. Okay, so I kind of covered everything about the stock. I mean, we can drill down and just look at the daily chart. I normally do that. Maybe we can talk about this trend line just a little bit more before we leave the stock. So there's zooming in on what happened over the last few days. You'll see this was the bottom here at 57.01. And it kind of retested shortly after it right here. You can almost call that a double bottom. If this I would call that a neckline. This is a bit of a breakout of the neckline. So I'd like to call this a double bottom, where this is the first break. Put in another low, but this low was higher than this low. Then we put in another high, higher than this high. And then we moved sideways. And then we couldn't do too much here in this area. So I was kind of hoping, for the sake of the stock and opportunity, that, like I say, this would break out somewhere in this area to the upside, but it kind of just trailed off by lack of volume, I think, more than anything else. But the important thing is this purple uptrending line held, and we're at the convergence here. We're definitely at the convergence between that purple line of a new uptrend, and if I can zoom this out, there it is. There's the red line coming down. So something's going to blow. Something's going to happen right here, guys. Either this is going to collapse and retest, or it's gonna break out. I'd say tomorrow morning we're gonna know which way the stock is going, and I'm more inclined to go with this. I'm more inclined to see a breakout here happening because of these higher pivots. I think the reason that we had so much trouble here is because we ran into that trend line, that downtrend line, and sellers came in and said, "Nah, no way, we're not ready quite yet." So let's see what happens tomorrow. Keep your eye on it, and I'm going to keep my eye on it. It's going to be on my watch list, and let's see what happens on Tuesday. Happy trading, everybody.